ช่ครับแต่กล้องเนี่ยผมไม่รู้ใช้ยังไงโฟกัสเอาไป
จะให้เห็นไปทาง
อ๋อมันดำเนินแผนทางนั้นใช่ไหม
ให้เห็นทางคุณสุชาติใช่ไหมคะหรือว่า
ก็ให้เห็นคนเข้าร่วมประชุมตอนนี้ยังไม่เห็นเลยแล้วมันทำได้กว้างสุดแค่นั้นเลยให้มันออกห่างๆไม่ต้องสูงมากนะไม่ต้องสูงมากได้เห็นมันเป็นเลน
อันนี้ได้ค่ะ
ออกนะออกนะแล้วก็เห็นภาพรวมพอเราออกขึ้นจอ
ฝั่งนี้แล้วใช่ไหมคะ
หน้าจอผู้เองเหมือนกันเลย
รอให้รอพี่พิมพ์มาพี่พิมพ์ไปประกัน
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon Kun Anthony how are you
Sawadee krap. Okay, I'm good. Kun Suchat, how are you?
I'm good
Cool. Hi, Suresh again. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kun Anthony.
เลยนะ
ครับ
เออฉะนั้น
ประมาณนี้
ให้มันออกสุดเลยทั้งออกตะแพง
ออกมาแล้วค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ welcome ครับ welcome สวัสดีครับ บางที
Online
ไป พอเพื่อนพี่ออนดูปุ๊บดึงภาพออกเป็นภาพกว้างภาพภาพกว้างแบบนี้ได้ไหม
Please see your son. Must listen. Yeah. เอาด้วยกันเอาที่โอ้โหทำเป็น
There's some big email problems in the office thing. Yeah, it's terrible today. Didn't open?
I wrote on the file.
Oh, there it is. It's good.
Okay.
Good. ได้กว้าง
ได้
ได้
แค่นี้อ่ะนะ
ใกล้สุดนะ
เอาแต่ไปตั้งโต๊ะมา
ได้ครับ
เอาที่จะ
แต่
เอา
เก้าอี้นี่นะอ๋อ
ไม่ได้เหรอไม่มีขาต้องตั้งอยู่บนโต๊ะนี่แหละนอกจากผู้ร่วมประชุมต้องนั่งอยู่ทางนู้น
not for me I'm not important
เราขยับให้มันแชร์ไปทางผู้ร่วมประชุม
I think you took about 70
I think-
should be okay
สุดๆแล้วพี่อ๋อพี่จะแผนต้อง
เดี๋ยวผมเห็นเชฟเลย
you don't need me
พี่เดได้ได้ได้
okay
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ
บอยแบนด์
เรียกอาชีพเนี่ยคุณวปินสวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับคุณบ๊อบบิ้ง
Sawadee krap, Kun Prapin. Sawadee krap.
Hello สวัสดีครับคุณประพิน
สวัสดีค่ะ อ้าว
สวัสดี
คุณ
ครั
ลี
บ
สวัสดีครับ
ครับสวัสดีครับ
Nice to meet you again
Yep and I will see you again on Friday coming
oh
Friday
Friday right okay.
yes we'll see you again
Tomorrow I think P49 will be here on 8 and
Okay.
9 mm-hmm.
all right just to
Just
have
to-
a sidewalk
Yeah just sidewalk okay
cool okay and then Friday I will catch up with you again with our new FMB director yeah She's
okay
good afternoon AJ
Hi Anthony how are you doing
Hi Anthony
hi good yep hi Christian
Hi We'll see you very soon Anthony
yes we'll see you on Friday actually
Basically, this is like a big equipment, you buy, or start working on it, then you know they're gonna buy it. So this is your portable, your, cold cabinets, this is your stationary fryers, everything on casters. Tilt and skills,
yeah just
exists for it's a banquet kitchen. I mean, they're gonna have to buy something, see what's ranges, you know, they have a couple months. I think.
So we assume that we have all participants in this room. Shall we start? We set this meeting for the issue about the kitchen appliance and housekeeper to be discussed in early stage. So we propose to have the agenda in this meeting from previous issues. Like this one is information that we got from the proposal from TriArc. Kun Suresh is in the line. I think everybody met him already. Kun Suresh is in the line.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we may present a few items about TriArc scope of work. Okay, นะครับคุณสุเรศ
Yes. Okay, so from our side, the scope of work is actually a full scope of work, is all back of house kitchens, front of house kitchens, bar, laundry. So that includes all, areas related to food service and laundry. So the first part for us is to do a full survey of the facility and equipment. So my team is arriving actually this afternoon there, and they'll stay for a whole week, 4 of them going. So we are going to conduct the full survey of all F&B areas and laundry. So once we have that survey done, we will produce a report, what can be reused, what cannot be reused, and what may need a major repair and need to evaluate the cost. So that is one part related to the equipment. And the second part is related to redesigning of kitchen areas. And we got as-built drawing of some areas. We still don't have all areas, but that's okay. That is at least a starting point for us to take the internal measurement to see what is, in terms of the drainages and other services available within the kitchen areas. And then we will come up with, once the survey is done, we have a as-built drawing as a footprint, we will propose a revised kitchen plan for the back of house to make it more efficient. As we know that we have, like some areas, we have preparation, replication, the cold rooms are a little bit scattered. So we would like to streamline the flow, streamline the food processing and the production. And then front of house part will be mainly together with the F&B concept and interior drawing and input from the operation team as well. Obviously, as we move forward, we will do we call it the initial space planning, share with the team, discuss with the operation team what they believe, what they feel, and what are the current limitations where improvement is needed, and we incorporate those. So that is our we call is approach to the renovation project.
Okay, this one is in your scope of service that we
Right.
transform your proposal.
Yes, right. So as I said, the first part is a facility and equipment survey, first and second part. Then the third part, which starts as like a space planning. Then once the space planning is done, we do the detail layout, which is with all equipment details. And that again will be reviewed together with the hotel's operation team there. Then we move to the next stage, which is a design development. It means doing the all MEP service drawing, which will be further used by MEP team to redesign or provide whatever electrical, plumbing, drainage points. Then the next step is a tender documentation. So the tender documentation is, to go out. Yeah.
Sorry, just one question.
Yes.
This is Ajay from GM from the Pullman. Hi. Just one question is with the kitchen design layout and equipment planning.
Yeah.
Obviously, this will be tied up with the new concept of what restaurants would be and the location, because now nothing is in concrete.
Yeah, so what, as I mentioned, we have a two-part. One is a back of house, so starting from a receiving area, the food preparation area, bakery, that is more or less, I would say, back of house, which is
correct.
Common facilities, right? Commissary kitchen.
Yeah.
And then the front of house is tied to F&B concept. So whether it's all-day dining, whether it's a beach restaurant, whether it's an Italian restaurant. Obviously, some part of back of house is also related to the front of house food concept, because what equipment we would need in a back of house to support that function, to support the show kitchen or a bar. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. So the tender documentation is to go out to the various or several kitchen contractors to get the most competitive pricing. So based on the developed design and equipment list, we prepare specification, scope of work. Now, as we know that we are going to reuse several equipment, stainless steel tables, sinks, what is existing, what is repairable. So the BOQ will be a combination of old and new. And for new, the scope is clear, we write specification. For old equipment, we would have a survey report which tells contractor what to do, what to repair, and they can price accordingly. So once we have a kitchen contractor on board, after few rounds of whatever tender clarification and negotiation, Kun Prapin's team can then select the kitchen contractor. Once they are on board, we will start with the shop drawing process from the kitchen contractor, their fabrication drawings approval, and then during their execution, during their installation, we would support the project team to monitor the progress, to do regular site visits to ensure that the kitchen contractor are installing it correctly. And the final one would be TNC, testing and commissioning. So once the installation is complete, we would check every single piece of equipment together with hotel operations team, engineer, chef, and then we say, okay, the kitchen is finally ready to hand over. So this is a ideal, we call A to Z process in a renovation process project.
Currently we had planned, I should say roughly for all the project, as the issue of the master schedule that we show next.
Yeah.
That we plan to have you start with the F&B design, and on the same time you already pretend that you have the survey to check the facilities and plan for the housekeeping. This one is the part of the F&B design, and we would like to inform you that this period of pre-construction we prepare for only in this year for all the design.
Yeah.
In this case, so we would like to have the drawing production and for tendering within early of next year, so we can expect to have the renovation of the facility within low season start on end of April.
Okay, I think that is not a problem for us, Khun Suchat. As I said that we were little bit held up for as-built drawing. Now as-built drawing has come in, the team has gone for survey. So once we have all this information on hand, we can speed up the first pass of the design. We can communicate with F&B and chef's team in the hotel. And like I said, when we replan the back of house kitchen, we have a couple of things in like to consider. Number one is to bring the efficiency. Number two is to design to the latest hygiene practice. And then we also have to keep in mind the existing constraints, and that's why survey is important by my team. For example, floor drain, we wouldn't move. We have to make sure that it can be, in a position where we can work around, because hacking the slab, the structural modification, it's a big cost. So we have to respect certain constraints and we have to work around. So it's always like a jigsaw, obviously some of the simple wall, or if it's brick wall, we can knock off. But if there is a structural column or a structural wall, we can't touch. So this thing will be a combination of several, things that when we start the design, it's like what we want to have, ideally what we want to have. And then that we superimpose with our survey and as-built drawing. And then we decide the priority and the implication. And then we come up with a, we call is an acceptable design solution.
I think we have another constraint about the design for the F&B designer, because previously we have one designer who left, and now we have P49 to design the part of F&B. For currently under survey by P49. They're supposed to be here tomorrow.
Okay, great.
I think in our previous planning, I said in this lovely detail that we have about the F&B food service facility design in early stage, which probably maybe have to switch to the other one, like a laundry or housekeeping, that you have to provide.
Right.
That
So,
design.
I understand, Khun Suchat, and I think as you see in the schedule that it's shown from the 1st June, right?
Yes, yes.
and it's ending end of the month. So
Yes.
we just received like 1.5, 2 weeks ago the as-built drawing. So I would say mid-July. So June and half July, that was already gone from the schedule. Never mind. I mean, we can catch up whatever is lost for the as-built drawing and that time. We have to catch up. So for laundry and housekeeping and kitchen, we will keep in running in parallel because we already lost 1.5 months in kitchen design. So once the survey comes in, I will have enough work to do on back of house while we wait for P49's concept design for front of house. So that's not a problem. At the end, what you have shown that toward the end of the year, we should be ready to provide a tender documentation, and that's the ultimate target. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Another part is the part of construction, where we expect to start all the outlet renovation within after Songkran holiday, all the F&B outlet and facility, and also make the M&E renovation in parallel as well. I think that's from the issue about the master schedule that we prepare.
Yeah, sure.
We, yes,
May I
yes.
ask the question about the construction period for each area of F&B? Could you go to the schedule, please? Yeah. So construction schedule, F&B outlet, demolition and kitchen repair and upgrade. Okay. So that is somewhere in May to July, kitchen work, right?
Yes.
Okay. So generally what I would recommend and what we would do is when we go out for tender end of the year, try to get contractor as early as possible. Then we speed up the shop drawing and they have to speed up the procurement, kitchen contractor.
Yes,
So
yes, I agree.
Yeah. And then when we are in May, for kitchen guys to move into the kitchen area, May or end of the May, early June, they should have all material on site or ready to be installed. So I will give you a bit more breakdown on a kitchen equipment, the tender execution detail. Because many times the contractor, they said, yeah, we still have a time and they not finish the shop drawing. And when we say, yes, ready to go, and then the material is not ready. So
we still need your advice for the long lead item anyway, that we provide this meeting.
Sure. Okay, thank you. I will do the breakdown based on this, Kap Kunsuja. Okay, yeah.
So all the F&B and facility is supposed to be done within end of 2024 to early month of 25 in first quarter. And in our previous issue agenda, we list some item that supposed to be discussed with all the Accor hotel operator here. First one is the list of functions required for. This one I assume that J or staff will have some issue that require your advice.
Sure. So we can listen to the hotel team's requirement. So if anyone would like to tell us now or send us the requirement later on.
Yeah, for sure we'll do that. I think the key big picture for us to address is the hygiene and sanitization. That includes the MEP part of it, of how the kitchen drains, the kitchen oil drains, the exhaust, The two big thing is the pest control and then the mosquito fly controls. This is one, but also second thing I would like you to look at, Suresh, is to look at the flow of receiving to mise en plan to preparation. We seem to be doing in too many places and we're handling it too many times.
As I said during my first visit when I came, I had noticed that, and I had also mentioned to Kun Prapin as well. That
And
is
sorry, good, Suresh, one more thing. When we do receive the fruits and the vegetables in the receiving dock, it is not an ideal location now because it sits in the sun and it is not a covered area where there's no fly trap or any mosquito.
that will be part of all my recommendation.
Sure.
So
It's very important.
Yeah, so we would recommend what needs to be done, starting from receiving or a
I'm just giving you
garbage.
our pain points now, so you can. I'm sure you will have more than what we will say. But these are some of the pain points that we have right now.
Sure. Thank you.
Equipment, of course, we will go with equipment what you would recommend, and we will also come back to you for each of the kitchens based on operational needs.
If you allow me to share my screen, and I just give you an example what we would do in terms of the facility. Kun Suchat, can I share my?
Sure.
Can I share my screen, Kun Suchat?
Yes, sure.
1 minute. Yeah, I should be able to do now. No, not yet. You can do now.
Thank you. So this is a simple example of the kind of report you will get from us. So if there is a false ceiling issues, if there is a floor issues, if there is a safety issues, the cold storage, anything related to health, hygiene, safety, and a kitchen functionality.
Yeah.
So we will start from receiving. So to start with receiving, for example, in a correct practice, it should not be done in open air.
Correct.
We need to have an air curtain. We would have air conditioned space.
It should be a wash place.
Yeah. So all your pre-wash, weighing,
yeah.
QC inspection, deboxing, the transfer to the hotel containers to be done. So that is a standard practice. So we would recommend that. Now your pest control, there are actually certain things. Number one is every area where it is connected to the outdoor and indoor, there has to be air curtain. And when I say air curtain, means not the plastic curtain. Air curtain, because plastic curtain in general practice, one is they get dirty, the food touches, people touches, and then when users get annoyed, they would normally tidy it up and leave it on the side,
Yeah, for sure.
So we prefer that it is the sensor activated air curtain, which are not expensive again, and is good solution. Then once you get inside at certain distance, you have an insect trap. And in a resort is a lot more of issue than urban hotel. For example, Phuket or even outer skirt of Bangkok, you have a lot more insect issues. So we would do all this in our recommendation. Then the second part is we call is a equipment survey. So when we do equipment survey, my team, and that's why I have 4 people gone there and going to stay 4 days, and I'm afraid that it's not even enough because we will have probably 2,000 items. My just rough estimate. And this is the kind of report detail we will prepare. So we will check what the model, what the serial number is, what the dimension and current MEP requirement, what is the condition of the equipment, what needs to be repaired. So we would categorize then the equipment mainly in 3 categories. One is the items like stainless steel tables, sinks, and they need cleaning, polishing, and little bit probably some rework, but generally they are good for reuse, after refurbishing. Then you have a second part is equipment which were purchased in last 5, 6, 7 years. They are good quality equipment in a working condition. Again, they can be a little bit refurbished and reused. Then there might be a very, very old equipment, and particularly this applies to all refrigerators and you know, cold rooms and where the system has been in use for 15, 20 years. Comparing the energy efficiencies, the hygiene level, the temperature. So those things we will recommend to be replaced. And sometimes it's also goes into evaluate category. It means it's still working. We think it can be repaired, but the repair cost to bring it up to the standard could be 50, 60% of the new equipment. Then we have to decide whether we want a repaired equipment, which is almost like a second-hand 15 years old equipment, and spend 60% money, or whether we want to buy it new. Now this will not be my decision. Obviously this, when we go out for a tender, we evaluate, we have to ask Khun Prapen whether we have enough money for other remaining area or not, and then we have to go by priority. That if our priority is a show kitchen, our priority is to replace key equipment, but there are certain equipment which we believe that we can drag the life for another 1 or 2 years, whether we want to replace now or replace later on, whether we have a budget still or not. So that is another category in the middle we call is a evaluate cost. So we will give you a full analysis of what need to be done. And then when we do a new design, we will pull this equipment into new design. So it's like a jigsaw. You know, I need a 4-burner here, and I would go back and check in the report. Oh, I have already 4-burner existing. I would bring it back from my inventory and put it here. So that's how we do the renovation. And the image you are showing here, Marriott Marquis, that was my project. And we had over 2,000 items in a you know, reuse when we did renovation there, you know, from the old Imperial Hotel.
Good.
Okay.
I think Khun Suresh already talked with all the agenda we prepare.
Yeah.
Khun Anthony, do you have any suggestion, question?
Suresh, can I
No,
come
for
in?
me. How about Kumar? Yep. Go ahead, Kumar.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, I listened to what Suresh has explained, and okay, the one more important thing is I know that he is aware the HACCP must be completely applied to this. Very important. It's a premium brand. Pullman is a premium brand. Secondly, the HACCP is a mandatory certification. Okay, whether we go in for that certification at the end or not, that's an option. But we should lead to that certification mode, which means we should design and install everything accordingly. So Suresh will take this into consideration, then design the stuff accordingly. Then coming back to his point of yes, we need to take an audit of the existing equipment. Some are relatively new, some are too old, some are less energy efficient. Okay, so it's going to be a kind of a big task for Suresh to go through all and see the real conditions of those equipments. And again, as he said, we need to prioritize it. Then preferably these sort of equipments to go to the backyard, then have the front of the house completely, with a modern one, So we need to make a kind of a compromise between both. I'm not here to say throw out all the old one, but to make use of it, to cannibalize it, that's the idea. For example, some items could be used in the canteen area, staff canteen, right? That could be done. Some could be for some outdoor, that should be the way. So the prioritization is important to you make use of the old equipments. If some equipments are really bad, you should be forthright in telling, sorry, this cannot be used. Okay, that's a way. Because we have to be very transparent in telling the owning company, this, yes, I will use it, this I cannot use it because such and such reasons. So we have to be transparent and clearly, tell them this is it, okay? Because later, what happens, some places,
we always give the rosy picture, then end up, again adding, asking for more and more money. This is not correct. Okay, so that I would request from your side. Okay, then of course you will have to wait for the concept to conclude, based on which you will design the equipment. That's fine for us, no problem. Okay, so I'm okay with whatever you presented here. Of course, we have seen your projects elsewhere also.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kumar, thank you. And I mean, for the survey report, we are completely independent, and our survey shouldn't be biased whether we have budget or not. The owner is hiring us to give a clear picture of what should be done, whether we can do, whether we have a budget or not. Everyone is aware that this is a clear picture. This is the status of condition. There is no offending to anyone. There is no other agenda than come up with a clear report. And I show you another example. I mean, we just finished the survey of other property here in Bangkok. So when we go, we take a picture. We have again as all the detail. If equipment is suitable for reuse, we recommend. If it's not suitable for reuse, we tell it's a hygiene problem, whatever. So all details are there. And as you said, then we prioritize front of house as a new equipment, and obviously the back of house is to be repaired or replaced. So we have no other, I would say, aim. We are not kitchen contractor who is just pushing to sell the new equipment. We are not, if something in our opinion not good, we tell it's not good. Whether we buy today or next year or 2 years later on, that is all, a joint decision, but mainly driven by the budget,
Yeah, and the aging also, the date of installation for most of the equipment, major equipments, is important, because a 2-year-old equipment certainly will have to be reused. A 15-year-old equipment, so that call also, I hope you will take that, which is important, because certainly the operators would have got the equipment, maybe 6 months ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, So we, of course, I'm sure that your audit will bring in everything. Okay, I'm happy about that. Okay.
Yeah, sure,
right.
sure. I mean, report will be shared with everyone, and we can discuss. And if there is a difference of opinion or there is a comment, we can discuss that why we believe certain items can be reused or cannot be reused, or chef there would have a different opinion, or a hotel engineer may have a different opinion. He might say, oh, this equipment has been breaking down too often, so we don't want to reuse. So there is always a very candid, open discussion about this.
Absolutely, we can give you that feedback. We already know. That's not an issue. We can work together.
So we are focusing more on, increasingly about the sustainability aspects. So whatever we do, keep that in mind, because the energy consumption, the water consumption, the gas consumption, everything must be optimized. No choice. Okay, whether I like it or not, no choice. That should be. So you have to impart that thing into the design also. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sure. I mean, Kumar, we work with Accor team on many projects. So we look into this always.
Khun Suresh,
Okay, thank you.
after your team had made a report, and we may or expect to have some item of equipment that can make a purchase. Is it possible to be done after that? For how long? From after complete surveying?
I would not recommend to take that approach, because it would be, we call is a piecemeal decision. We should look at a bigger holistic picture, because if something we buy, we think is more important, but as we do the design and F&B concept and front of house, we may have something more important, and then at the time we say, oh, we have now no more money left because we already spent here. I would never recommend to buy equipment in advance unless chef has something critical broken down and we know we are going to need it anyway in the future, then we can look at. But I would not make a list for advance purchase for such a big property and project, no.
The only, Surashai, Christian here, the only, to be honest, that I can think of that it's completely missing for such a size of property is the blast chiller. So
Yes.
the blast chiller is something that you buy now, you buy next year, will not make a change, but the rest,
Right.
we need to wait
Yeah.
for the overall project.
Totally agree with you. As I said, if something we know that regardless of design, we are going to need it, we can consider. But in general, I would like to see bigger picture. We look at the priority. This is going to be like BOQ going to be 2,000 piece of equipment in the overall design. So we should look at holistic picture. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Kun Robin, do you have any item to discuss?
ไม่มีค่ะตอนนี้นะคะ
Okay, so Kun Suret, I think you already cover all the agenda we raised, and I have just only one last question, not the solution, to ask all the stakeholders here. I can't figure out about the way to manage the loading while we have the contractor under construction by phase. In this SARA is about the guard or the security to control on each area. We have two loading area like this one, that building A, and this one building C, that we expect to make some special offer for contractors for load their material and people into the building while under construction. In this case, it may happen to the case of contamination to your F&B issue. I aware about it, and I doubt that where else that I can use for access for material of the construction.
The existing location is fine, but this needs to be redone.
Yes, but
I think so.
He's talking about loading construction supplies and.
Oh,
yeah.
construction, okay,
Yes,
sorry.
during
Oh,
construction,
okay.
we have to provide access for the contractor.
Yeah, food's right here at the bottom. That's food. Top is not.
I mean, we have to stay away from the food, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So it come to the conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Meaning we have to provide access for contractor, we need access for ourselves. So this one, if you agree that this one we will fix for the hotel operator using.
That's where.
So
your
we
food
may sacrifice this one
Garbage there,
during the construction.
No, but we have garbage room there.
Sure. The government can also provide access from this way.
Back loading dock.
Otherwise, we have to make the access for contractor and exit for the.
Maybe get food here. Maybe we do a walk around there.
Sure.
Don't we get deliveries here? This is the back area like smoking, and then this is where the food goes in.
No, where the big,
That's for laundry.
that's for laundry.
So laundry, yeah, but it's right after laundry.
No, the big area is food. Big area.
Yeah, the big area at building A is here.
Oh,
That Kun AJ need cover.
I don't know if you can look at the staff entry from the front door, front access, that is shut all the time. Can that be somewhere?
On the fence, which fence?
Staff entrance,
Robinson.
which is closed at the moment.
Yes.
That-
You mean on the main street on Atak Street?
Other street?
No, we need to provide the other different way from the beach, if it's possible. Because it's separate from the guest entrance. Yes, we
Is it
need to
separate?
look at
Is it
the
separate?
staff.
Come from here. What if they come from here?
This food,
The staff entrance on this way, you have cross with you are using as well.
But this side,
Okay, we can discuss after this meeting.
Yeah.
We need to walk around there, but
Yeah, we can. Okay, ครับ I just need the opinion to present this logistic plan next after the all settled. Okay, คุณสุเรศ I think the issue that you prepare is already been clarified.
Thank you.
If we don't have any other item, we may close the meeting for this one.
Thank you.
คุณประพินครับคุณประพินมีหัวข้ออื่นอีกไหมครับ
Suresh,
May-
Suresh,
Hello,
Suresh,
yes.
I had to add one more point.
Yes.
You know, in this kind of a reorganization, what happens, there's always a clash between the existing electricity provision, okay? And to comply to, see, sometimes what happens when we change something, then we might end up changing some of the panels, some of the switches, and other cabling, new cabling, etc. Okay, so here I think you have to help us to go in for the optimal way. For example, if there's a choice between a gas equipment and equivalent electrical equipment,
Yeah.
then I need you to make the right choice, considering the power supply provision over there. Okay. And also considering the gas supply over there. This is very important for us. Thank you.
Okay. As you know, and thank you, Kumar. As you know that we try to go a bit more toward induction where it's possible and acceptable. Obviously, you need woks with the gas. You need certain burners or a share. But once we make those choices and when we do the preliminary electrical load calculation, and if we find that it's already exceeding the capacity available, then we might have to revert back to gas. So we would start with what we call is most ideal we should have in terms of future kitchen. And then if it's not possible, obviously we revisit and we go back.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Any other question? No, nobody have any question?
No.
All right. So as we can complete this meeting like this. And thank you everybody for attending this meeting.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
ขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. ขอบคุณครับ ขอบคุณครับ
Yep.
See you,
See you guys. Yep.
See you on Friday, Anthony. Bye.
Yep. See you, AJ, on Friday.
Bye ครับ ขอบคุณครับ
ครับ
Nice to meet you.
Right?
Yes.
Thank you all. Bye.
I'll be around. Oh.
Please.
Sign the